Alright, check this out real quick here. When I have polarity mode reversed here to, let's say, flyback configuration, we get pulses delivered during the pulse off time, which is nice. We get kind of like this crazy waveform, but we are getting opposing polarity, as you can see. I'm not going to do this very long. If I crank this thing up, I can get up to 100 volts at the cell. Only at a couple hundred milliamps and only at 2 amps input. Wow, that's close to where I was. And like a previous state, wherever we are with gas production, voltage level, with the mode where we create pulses during the on time, we're just behind it in the flyback mode, to where we can reduce energy consumption significantly, amperage at the cell and at the input, by having it in a flyback mode. That also, you know, it's 10 kilohertz here from what we're at right now at this voltage level, and we get appropriate performance. You know, when we reach that 100 volts or so, as you can see, the cell's starting to take off there. Once again proving that it's voltage doing the work, not amperage.
This is Stan's Revenge.
We're back at it here. Look at this waveform here. I want to point out, during the pulse off time right here, we have this wonderful spike of voltage, equal opposite polarity, and then collapsing over time. This is at 440 hertz, 50% duty cycle, as you can see, indicated by the yellow here, on off. And this is something interesting because we can pump up the voltage here. It does bug out my meter though. Here, check that out. So we get nice voltage at the cell. We're pushing 90 volts across 4 cells right now, almost maxed out. It's like half an amp right here. And the cells are definitely producing as a result of reaching this voltage level. But we only have a half an amp at the cell, which is less than what we were working with previously. I have to check what the voltage was I was reaching previously. But this is a wonderful pulse generated during the off time. And that's really where the magic, I believe, is for as far as amp restriction. Part of it is being able to create the voltage during the off time to be able to reduce the pulse on time. Just like that. And I wonder if we can max this up all the way. We're at 92 volts at the cell. Only 185. Well, no. Amp meter's bugging out, so it does not show correctly. Let's check out something real quick. I think my next job is going to be checking the safety relays in this. They're probably fried because I'm reading 10 volts across my cells, and that safety relay is supposed to turn or short pretty much all my connections when this is turned off. It should auto short, and it is not. So I have to be careful because there could be a discharge of power here. I have been shocked before, not obviously terribly hard because it was just a short pulse, let's say, that's left, but I have been shocked before when these have been live, and I've never done a video or told anybody about it. I have been in a situation with high voltage on these where I've been clamped to my connections, let's say. Not fun. You gotta be careful. Safety first. And see, here's where I think the real, again, the magic is, because, you know, in this configuration mode, this operational mode of pulses during the off time, you can see them, this dang thing would please stabilize. You can see right here, it starts going crazy where we start having, I believe, arcing issues. This operational mode appears to change the balance of these inductors because I'm using it in a different operational mode, is what I'm theorizing here. But we can see this EOP here, where we do have just a little bit more positive potential than we do negative potential, especially as seen here where we're just underneath that one grid block there, or this one was just above that one grid block there. So there's more positive potential than negative potential right here. So if we can balance that or fine tune it, that may prove better results here. Wow, look at this huge spike that's happening here right at that pulse off time. Like, look at this. Like, we have in phase positive and negative during this collapse, but at a specific frequency there, and that resonates through that whole amount of time there, whatever that might be here, and then the rest of the collapse of that pulse. Wow. You can see that kind of reflected on the positive 30 volt rail, that purple right there. Experimenting with cell diodes. Right now they are disabled. Look at this waveform with no cell diodes. Look at that. Got nice kind of EOP building there, but these polarity spikes in the opposite direction here, not good. Hang on. Added that diode on the negative terminal there, and you can see that we no longer have those dips. Yay, fantastic. Is the positive one really necessary? It goes close. Let's see what it does. Alright, positive cell diode connected. We actually get that like a additional kind of pulse there. It's not dipping down by any means. Did that affect the negative one? The negative one is dipping more towards the 0 volt point. Yeah, but that positive one affects the negative one. Look at that. See where that negative is? Right there, that little dip. Positive there, dipping down to the 0 volt line. Putting that guy back on here. Now enabled. We've got kind of almost the opposite effect here. Interesting. So what can we do? Putting a 100 ohm resistor on the negative terminal does something like this, where it calms down those kind of off-time spikes there. Kind of normalize a little bit. What if we put up a capacitor in there and get rid of that little spike there? But it really doesn't matter too much, I don't think. That did kill maximum voltage though. I'm gonna unpause this. This is what it was. This is what it is.
This is Stan's Revenge.